Over 30 games with insane, realistic graphics coming out in 2025 and beyond. Games to PlayStation, Xbox, and Windows. Hope you liked the video. Click on the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go.
All of the men in this room are bound by blood. This is a family. And in this family is to betray all. Do you wish to commit yourself, your life, to this family?
Mafia the Old Country is the fourth game of an acclaimed and beloved series. I mean, the third game is not that beloved, but there are some fans of it too. The game is being developed by the studio Hangar 13, the studio responsible for Mafia 3. As I said, it's not the most beloved game, but they also did Mafia 1 Remake. That's an excellent game, and now it'll be their new chance of creating a good story. The game will be released in 2025 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and Windows. The game will be set before the other games, in the start of 20th century, and promises to be a game with a great storytelling like the first two games.
To become a man of honor, repeat these words.
My flesh must burn like this saint. If I do not keep my oath.
Welcome, Enzo.
Every good story is true in one way or another. Dr. Jones. So what I'd like to do is put the guns down.
Go ahead.
So what brings you to the Vatican, Indy?
I'm looking for someone.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a game that was already released, but on Xbox Series X and Series S and Windows, but it was also confirmed to PlayStation 5, and it's coming out still in 2025. The game was developed by the studio Machine Games, and is an insane stealth FPS set in the universe of Indiana Jones. In the game, you can explore different locations, all of them with a lot of things to do and explore. The combat of the game is simple. It's not an FPS game like Call of Duty, but a stealth game that you can also use firearms, but they are not so simple to use, but I highly recommend you the game.
He stole something from me, and I mean to find out why.
Right now, I'm looking into the disappearance of my sister. And I believe...
They think it's a conduit of some kind of power, correct?
The boss certainly does. He believes it'll secure his place in history. There's a trigger.
Don't hurt her!
Roderick, remind me, did I make an exception for children?
No, sire.
No. That would have been foolish, would it not? They spread the plague just as well as adults.
The Blood of the Dawnwalker is a new open RPG from the same director of the beloved The Witcher 3. The game is being developed by the studio Rebel Wolves and is coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and Microsoft Windows. We still don't know the release date, but I'd say 2026 or 2027. And the interesting thing about the game is that just like The Witcher, the game will be set in a world that reacts to your decisions. All you choose will change something in the story, and the world will be dark and immersive, filled with creatures such as vampires.
Not just a runner, but a fighter, too. Had we met under a different moon, things might have ended there.
Death Stranding 2 is the sequel of the acclaimed original game. Again, it's being developed by Kojima Productions, and it's coming out in June 26, 2025, to PlayStation 5. In the future, it's probably coming out to Windows and maybe Xbox. Death Stranding is a unique and original game. The gameplay mixes walking simulator with building features, combat, and an insane story and storytelling. And the sequel will continue the story of Sam, the protagonist of the game, and now the players will continue to explore and connect the people, but also see the aftermath of the first game.
We want you to help us bring the world together.
Sam, would you mind if I joined you?
Humor him. His knowledge and experience will probably come in handy down the road.
Yes.
The plan, Sam. The UCA isn't looking to expand its borders. Just like with Mexico, they want to bring new regions into the network. Anyway, the DHV Magellan's here to back you up. As always, you'll be the one leading the way to expand the network.
Wisdom and kindness. Take the easy times what shape us, nay. 'Tis how we rise. Forgive me, daughter. 'Twere my only choice.
I shall be the bringer of salvation.
The Witcher 4 is the sequel of the acclaimed The Witcher 3, but now, different of the previous games, the protagonist won't be Geralt anymore, but Ciri, one of the most important characters of the third game. It's being developed by the studio CD Projekt Red, the same studio of Cyberpunk and The Witcher, and is probably coming out in 2027, with luck 2026, to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. The new game will be totally made in Unreal Engine 5. That's one of the best engines of the moment, with impressive graphics and insane possibilities. So if you like huge and massive RPG games, this is surely one of these. Chrono Odyssey is a new, insane, huge MMORPG. It's a game developed in Unreal Engine 5, a game with impressive graphics and visuals. The game is being developed by the studio Chrono Studio and got no release date yet, but is probably coming out in 2025 or 2026 to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. A vast and intricately designed, seamless open world, dynamic action-based combat mechanics based on time manipulation and extensive customization. These are some of the features of this insane game. So for the fans of online RPG games with a massive world to explore, this is a game for you. Crimson Desert is an insane upcoming open-world RPG. The game is being developed by the studio Pearl Abyss, and it's coming out still in 2025, but with no specific date yet. But it's coming out to Xbox Series X and Series S, PlayStation 5, and PC. This is one of those games that are even hard to believe that they're really good as they look. The graphics are insane. The world seems huge and massive, and is a game with a lot of features like glide, parkour, a nice combat style, dragon ride, and much more. And if it's as good as it looks, it'll be one of the best games of this year. Onimusha Way of the Sword is the returning of an old and classic series. The game is being developed by Capcom and is coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and Microsoft Windows. The release date is confirmed to 2026, but we still don't know when exactly in 2026. The game will be set in the same style of the original games, a game with a hack-in/combat style, but some RPG and puzzle mechanics, set in a dark and magical world, mixing reality with fantasy. What was always really fun to the series, so I'm looking forward to the new one.
Best then, eh? Sword play is a game of strength. And you can bring as many friends as you want. What got them so riled up?
It always comes back to this. This choice.
Saros is the next game of the studio that developed Returnal, a fun roguelike game released on PlayStation 5. The studio is Housemarque Studios, and as it's a PlayStation studio, it's coming out only on PlayStation 5, at least in the start, and is aimed to be released in 2026. We've just seen one trailer so far, but here we see that the graphics are really good, something Sony's game usually got. And again, the game will be set in a roguelike style, and we'll probably see bullet hell features. That's those games with a lot of things and shots for the player to avoid. What is fun for me?
Every time the sun dies, madness reigns, and everything begins again. Ways come back stronger. I know that you are here.
Ensure the safety of Sokolov and bring him back to the west. Your codename for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. The clock is ticking. This will be a sneak. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's specialty. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Metal Gear Solid Delta is the remake of one of the most beloved games of the master Kojima, Metal Gear 3, and it's being developed by Konami. Just hope they do a great job here. It's coming out to Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Windows in August 26th, 2025. Metal Gear is a stealth game, set in an extremely unique universe. The things are not what they seem, and the plot of the game is absolutely incredible, especially to its time. The remake will seemingly respect the original game, but bringing a new gameplay style, but keeping the core of the game, that's the stealth. Doom: The Dark Ages is the next adventure of this beloved FPS series. The game is being developed by the studio ID Software and is coming out on May 13, 2025 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows. The game will be a prequel, set before of Doom 2016, but here Doomslayer will be as brutal as never before, with new melee weapons and firearms. The enemies looks really good, and the players will also have the possibility to control a flying dragon and a huge mecha robot. What looks extremely brutal, so if you like the last games of the series, this is a great game for you. Archeage Chronicles is a new MMORPG that looks mind-blowing. Here, we'll explore Auroria, a vast and vibrant world brimming with rich lore and thrilling action. The game delivers an immersive experience that will capture players' hearts, whether they are newcomers to the setting or seasoned adventurers. The game got an insane visual style with a great combat system. Some people are even considering it a Souls-like game. So imagine fighting insane bosses and enemies with your friends, getting better items and equipment, building your characters the way you want, and much more. So it looks really promising.
人活进了戏里，还是戏本就因人而在。
Project the Perceiver is an insane upcoming action RPG game, and like most of the RPGs nowadays, we see some inspirations in Souls-like games, since the combat to the boss fights. The game is being developed by the studio Paper Games, a Chinese studio, and is coming out in 2025 or 2026 to PlayStation 5 and Windows. The game will be set in a beautiful and immense open world with a lot of quests, enemies, and general content. The visual of this game is something mind-blowing with an impressive combat style and movements. So like most of China's game lately, you should keep an eye out for it.
且让你们体会。如何相提并论？
一将功成万骨枯，总有。
Gears of War E-Day is the new game of this beloved and acclaimed third-person shooter series. The game is being developed by the studio The Coalition, and it's coming out in some moment 2025 to Xbox Series XS and Windows. Gears of War is one of the biggest Xbox series, and this game is going to be set before of all original games. What's good, it's going to be set in one of the most important battle of the series. In the old games we could hear about E-Day, and now we'll be able to play as a younger Marcus in a brutal and fluid gameplay. So you, fan of Gears of War, this one shall be insane. The Sinking City 2 is the sequel of a game with the same name, released in 2019, a game that seemed insane, but ended up having some problems. But now the studio seems to have learned from these mistakes, and promises to do a greater game in all aspects. The studio is Frogwares, and the game is being developed to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. We still don't know exactly when the game is coming out, but I believe we're still going to play it in 2025. The Sinking City 2 is a terrifying Lovecraftian journey, powered by Unreal Engine 5. Experience a heart-pounding survival horror in an insane story.
Searching house to house.
If they arrest you two, they will take you to their headquarters, and you will not return.
By my count, that makes 2 super soldiers, counting you, and that's 2 too many.
Marvel 1943. Rise of Hydra is a new superhero game coming out. It's being developed by the studio Skydance Interactive and is aimed to be released in some moment of 2025 to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. So far we didn't see much about the game, just a first trailer. That's an excellent trailer, by the way. In the game, we'll play as 4 different characters, American Captain and Black Panther, some of the greatest Marvel superheroes in the last years. Beyond that, we'll also play as 2 normal soldiers, so I'm really curious to see how the gameplay of each one of them are going to be.
There's some obstacles.
That won't be a problem.
Our cat friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
The American.
So what do you want?
Answers.
That's far enough!
Stay out of my way!
Stand
Stand aside!
I do not take...
Because I was going to make a sandwich. Let's do it. What do I think about Hero? Their disproportionately high cheekbones and comically massive weapons.
Wanker.
Roughing up bandits, because they like to rough up bandits, don't they? So the true hero's me, someone who's breaking new ground with fruit, with veg, on the agricultural side of things.
Just look at them!
Not wafting around.
Fable is the returning of a great Xbox RPG series. The game is being developed by the studio Playground Games, the same studio of Forza Horizon. So it's a different style of game of what they usually do, but it looks fun. Let's just hope it is. The game was coming out in 2025, but was postponed to 2026. It's coming out to Xbox Series XS and Windows, but I wouldn't say that a PlayStation 5 version is impossible. But it'll be available day one on Xbox Game Pass. For the fans of the series, this one will be set in the same style, a kind of open world game, with a lot of choices and possibilities of gameplay and story.
That's what defines you, isn't it? Really, stays with you. I knew this one hero. I took her in when she had nowhere else to go.
Welcome to the most exclusive club.
It's to her gift. But, you know what it's like when you're young and you have a point to prove.
That world came into being. It devoured everything from the past. Only I was left. That was a fatal mistake.
It's the aura of the Grail pieces. I can sense it. As long as it is reforged.
Wish can be fulfilled.
Tides of Annihilation is a new action-adventure game. It's being developed by the studio Eclipse Glow Games, and is coming out to Xbox Series X and Series S, PlayStation 5, and Windows, but there's no release date yet, probably 2026 or even later. The game is set in a world that mixes reality with fantasy, with amazing realist graphics. Everything in the game looks really good, since the visuals, audio effects, combat, that's fast and fluid, with impressive visual effects, and mainly the boss fights, with some aspects of Souls-like game, what looks really nice.
This is a feast only for the king.
Price. To pursue one's wishes is to court one's doom.
Gwendolyn, this is...
Phantom Blade Zero is an insane action RPG game. It's being developed by the Studio S game, and is coming out to PlayStation 5 and Windows. The release date is still not confirmed, but they said that it's going to be revealed in 2025, so I believe it's coming out in 2026 or later. The game will be set in a kind of linear map, similar to Dark Souls, but no, it's not a Souls-like game, but action RPG with mechanics that resembles Souls-like games. In the game, we'll play with different weapons, facing different enemies and bosses, finding new items and equipments, and honestly, I'm really hyped about this game. Battlefield 6 is finally a new version of this classic series. So far we don't have much information about it, but it shall be released still in 2025 or 2026. Cronos the New Dawn is third-person survival horror by the studio that brought us the amazing Silent Hill 2 remake. The studio is Bloober Team. I didn't trust the studio to do the remake of Silent Hill 2 back then, but they showed us that they know how to impress us. So I'm curious to see more about this game. It'll be released in some moment of 2025 to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. The game throws you into the heart of a deadly struggle against overwhelming foes, all while uncovering the mysteries of a twisted time travel story, with impressive visuals and an impressive immersion.
My memory's still a bit blurry. Remember this. Inside my head.
Satellite gives us a 10-minute window. You made it.
That's just leftover hardware. It's been decommissioned. What the hell is happening? All I know is that Silvercorp is a piece of my story.
Mindseye is a story-driven, action-adventure thriller set in a fictional near-future Americana, featuring best-in-class cinematics, high-octane driving, and explosive combat from legendary game director Leslie Benzies. This is a game that promises to be the game to be in the same level of GTA 6 in 2025, and yes, it's being developed by an old Rockstar game director. That's why the hype is real about it. The studio is billed a Rocket Boy, and the game is coming out in some moment of 2025 or 2026 to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows.
Lose her! I'm coming to you now! The search and rescue bots. They're
Are you real? More real than you, I'm afraid. So, where's the captain? Everyone died. Oh, this is insane. What a trip. Not a trip. It's reality. Your new reality.
Are we brothers or something?
We have the same DNA, but...
The Alters is an extremely curious game. It's being developed by the studio 11-Bit Studios, and is coming out in some moment of 2025 to Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Windows. This game really got my attention. It's a sort of survival game. You'll be alone in a planet, and will somehow create different versions of yourself to help you build and take care of the base. Yes, it sounds crazy. That's why it looks so fun. Despite it all, it will also be a game about exploration, discovering things and places in the universe to get resources, and the building mechanic even reminded me of Fallout Shelter. That was really good.
Calm down. You're not the original Jan, but that doesn't mean you can't be important. Like you look like me, but also like me. What the fuck did you drug me with, man? No, not hallucinating.
We are beyond.
can. People come north. Still think you're the hunter?
Ghost of Yotei is the next game of the studio Sucker Punch Productions, the studio responsible for Ghost of Tsushima. And the new game is going to be the sequel, set over 300 years after the first game, and obviously, all the characters will be different, so I'm curious to see the game. It's coming out in some moment of 2025, with no release date yet, but this year, and will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, but in some moment will be released on Windows too, I'm sure. The first game was an extremely fun action-adventure game, with some RPG mechanics, and this one will be set in the same style.
Up you go. Sorry, kiddo. We've still got a ways to go.
Pragmata is a mysterious game. It's being developed by Capcom, a great video game studio. Especially nowadays, it's coming out to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. The game was supposed to be released in 2023, but it was postponed, and now we have no idea when it's coming out, and they haven't said or shown anything of the game since it was postponed. But the gameplay in the trailer looks really fun, especially for being so unique and mysterious.
Tear it open!
Last Sentinel is a new game story focused, set in an open world. Believe it or not, but this game is being produced by an old Rockstar Games director. His new studio is Lightspeed, and the game got no release date yet, but is probably coming out to the main platforms, since it wasn't announced too. The game is set decades from now in a reconstructed Tokyo. You play as Hiromi Shota in Last Sentinel, a narrative-focused, open-world action game. That's the briefing of the game. Beyond that, we don't know much more, but it's a game that sounds really interesting. Just hope to see a gameplay trailer soon.
Follow me.
Father told us to hide when they came to our house. Then they took him away. Mother said I couldn't play outside anymore.
Hell Is Us is a new action-adventure game with some RPG mechanics. The game will be set in a semi-open world, in a dark and mysterious universe. The game is being developed by the studio Rogue Factor, and it got a release date already, and it is September 4th, 2025, and it'll be available on Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5 and Windows. In an isolated country ravaged by infighting, discover the secrets of your past and deal with the repercussions of a mysterious calamity. A game with beautiful graphics and an immersive gameplay. So just make sure you remember this one.
Mother always said monsters didn't exist. I thought they lived under my bed. We were both wrong. They live inside our heads.
The tracks lead this way. On me. Bloody hell.
Dying Light the Beast is a new action-adventure with horror game. If you know the series, you know what to expect, but it's a game set in a first-person style. You're in a place that's been struck by a zombie infestation. You must survive and fight them with all you've got, all types of weapons, vehicles, and more. The gameplay is really nice, with a fast movement style and insane parkour skills. The game is being developed by the studio Techland, and it's coming out in some moment of 2025 to PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series XS, and Windows, and is a game that the fans of the first game should keep an eye out for.
Contact!
If you push too much, you might unleash the beast.
A.I.L.A is an interesting upcoming first-person survival horror set in a futuristic world. The game is being developed by the studio Pulsatrix Studios and is coming out to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows, but there's no release date yet, but it shall be released in 2025 or 2026. A first-person horror game set in a near future filled with immersive technology. Play as the sole game tester for a revolutionary new fictional AI. Survive intense horror experiences that prey on your deepest fears as the lines between virtual and reality begin to blur. The arts of the game looks really good, so I want to see the final version. Marvel's Wolverine is the new game by the studio of Spider-Man PS4 and Ratchet & Clank. The studio is Insomniac Games, a very good studio. The game is being developed for a long time already, but unfortunately we just have a single trailer so far here. We can see that the graphics are insane, but I really hope the game is as brutal as a Wolverine game needs to be. It'll be set in the same universe of Spider-Man games, and we still don't know when it's really coming out. Maybe 2025, 2026, to PlayStation 5 only.
Lucia, do you know why you're here?
Bad luck, I guess.
GTA 6 is the new adventure of one of the biggest video game series ever. The game will once again be set in Vice City, a famous city of the series. But now it'll be set in modern days, even with a whole new part. I'd even say that Vice City we know will be just a small part of the whole game's map. Just like GTA 5, here we'll play with more than one protagonist. Now, it'll be Jason and Lucia, and it promises to be one of the greatest games ever. The game is being developed by Rockstar Games, and it's coming out in 2025. Unless they postpone it, let's hope not, and it'll be launched on Xbox Series XS and PlayStation 5.
Well, look who's back.
The only way we're gonna get through this is by sticking together, being a team. Trust?
Trust.
I wish I hadn't come here for this. I found them.
Instinction is a new first-person survival game set in a mix of prehistoric and modern world. Experience an action-adventure full of prehistoric animals, set in the heart of a lost Mesoamerican land cut off from the world by the rift. Survive a mysterious organization and ancient creatures to restore stability and unravel one of the most intriguing stories of modern times. The game is being developed by the studio Hashbane Interactive and is coming out to Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. Probably still in 2025, and shall be one of the most realistic video games about dinosaurs so far.
After all this death, if you had the chance to...
Jordan, tell me something good.
Intergalatic: The Heretic Prophet is the new game developed by the studio that created insane series like The Last of Us, Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, and more. The studio is Naughty Dog and is coming out probably in 2026 to PlayStation 5. So far we didn't see much about the game. What we know is that the game is being developed since 2020 and the graphics looks really good, what's usual of Naughty Dog. The game will be set in a futuristic and fanciful world. The gameplay wasn't announced yet, but in the trailer we see what could resemble a part of it, a sort of hack and slash or Souls-like style. What looks fun.
There, you're the boss. Thank you. Listen, kid.
Ready for a bit of fun then?
Killing Floor 3 is the next game of this beloved horror FPS series. The game is being developed by the studio Tripwire Interactive and is coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows in March 25th, 2025. The series is known for being extremely fun to play with friends. Yes, it's a sort of co-op game with a lot of personality. The graphics looks really good, looks immersive and fluid, and promises to be a great experience. with a lot of content, such as missions, weapons, enemies, and much more. And it's close to be released, so keep an eye out for it. That's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if it. Click on the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you, and I see you in the next video.